Yeah, this is live, man. Live as of right now. So a few fresh faces to the live stream for Inter Worldwide. Yeah, I'll start with you, Bruno. Why not? Look at you. How you been, bro? You all right?
Yeah, been good, been good. It's been a great couple of months as an Inter supporter, but now the competition starts heating up, and the early mornings are gonna start getting tougher, I feel.
Yeah, I was just looking at our times, and you know how we got a couple. We've got Roma at 10:30, but that dies in the ass after that. After that, it's
Yeah.
back to like the worst of the worst times that we can pick up. So yeah, I'm really anticipating that. Mario, all the way from the States. Happy New Year, man! Your first time on the channel this year, but a seasoned veteran. Good to see you.
Good to see you. It's good to be back. Happy New Year.
Thanks, bro. You sound so excited, bro. And Jono, always good to see you. I really like the shirt, man.
Thank you, boys. Thank you. Yes, these are the new ones that the crew's getting, supporting the team. So we'll get them out to everyone as soon as possible.
Beautiful. Sounds good. We got a big game in a small turnaround time, and you know, like Bruno's been saying for a few of our results recently against the Minnows, this isn't going to be good enough when we play up against real opposition, and Roma is real opposition. In my predictions at the start of the season, I thought they would struggle big time, gang. Like, honestly, when they shipped Kluivert off and they were having problems behind the scenes, I'm like, Roma might be one that you can kind of write off a little bit. Not the case at all. If you actually take into account one of their losses to Hellas Verona, which was, you know, the default loss, they would be on the same amount of points as us and with the best form in the league. So I'll start with Mario, closest one to my right. Everybody else is left that they're looking at probably. What are your thoughts going into Roma, man? And while I ask you boys what your thoughts are on Roma, throw in the players that you expect to start so I can give our predicted lineup at the bottom of this screen.
Roma's been very good this year. They haven't lost a game in the last 5 or so, 5 plus.
I think 4. They lost to Atalanta. They got spanked. But then before that, it was like another 4 games where they got 12 points out of 12. They've just been rolling, man.
Yeah, they won 3 of their last 5 or whatever, 4, 6, whatever. And they've been really good. Mkhitaryan he's been on fire this year. 8 goals, 7 assists. This guy is
career best form.
We saw like 5-6 years ago with Dortmund, why he became a big deal and went to the Premier League. So I'm now looking forward to him, especially the way we've been defending lately. Oh my God, it's been bad. We need to just put results together. That's the only thing I could say. I say it time and time again. You beat these stupid little teams. You don't got to worry about losing to Roma in form, to Juve, to Milan in form. You don't have to worry about that because you make up the points and they'll just lose the points themselves, and then the season becomes easy. But you know we got to make things hard. The game against Sampdoria was I don't even know I can't even put words to describe it. It was so bad. I really hope that Lukaku shows up this game big time. We need him. He's got to be the striker that, you know, we rely on. And unfortunately, it's like similar to the last seasons where we relied on Icardi so much, but it's a different type of reliance where even if we feed him the ball 100 times, we're not relying on him to score 100 goals. He's going to open the game up for everybody else to score as well as himself. So he's probably the most important player going into next game. Martinez, you know, 1 game he's good, 6 games he's bad. It depends on if he wants to lay off the ball 1,000 times to the other team. The story of our lives, you know. Midfield, losing depth slowly, lost Nainggolan, and you know, next is Eriksson probably. And from there, it's going to be another guy, you know. Then soon we'll be injury ridden. Barella's going to get a 3-game suspension for talking to the referee or some nonsense. And then next thing you know, we're starting some weird makeshift midfield all of a sudden.
You've been optimistic all season, bro. The Samp game broke you, cuz. I can hear it in your voice and everything, man. You've been the one telling everyone to calm down for 15 match days. It broke you, cuz. It was the first time this season that you looked at when and go, That's not a champion team. That's nowhere near a champion team.
Not even close. I mean, sure, you're allowed to have bad games. Milan had their bad game against Juve, fine, whatever. But you got to win these stupid games. I mean, if we can't win just because Lukaku's not on the field, it's a problem. Like Conte's style, it's demanding to say the least. But it has to be effective, and thankfully, it's been consistent. I mean, sure, look, I'm upset after the Sampdoria, as everybody else should be, but it's not the end-all, be-all. We're still 1 point behind Milan. Like I said, they dropped points themselves. All we have to do is just keep doing what we got to do. Conte has to right the ship. Not right the ship, but, steer it.
Yeah, 100%. Like you've heard of big teams being carried by one player, but as I think about it in my head right now, I don't think any team has won a title solely because only one player was their be-all and end-all. You've got a couple of seasons with teams that sometimes, there's 3, 4, but there's always got to be more than one. And right now we're looking like a one-man team, unfortunately. Jono, you're up next, man. Your thoughts going into Roma. I've attached our sort of predicted 11 at the bottom because it's the exact same one that we went against. What's it called? Sampdoria. Yeah, so if there's any changes, which there should be, because Young probably shouldn't start. I don't like looking at Brozovic and Gagliardini's name, but as Mario said, we started off this year with midfield depth up our ass, and now I can't think of looking at the same midfield every single game, Jono.
Yeah, it's been a bit of a headache the last seeing it touch on what Mario said, how much we've just depleted in midfield. Like we had so many riches at the beginning of the season. Now we're down to today. Gagliardini's got to start almost every game now by the look of it. So it is what it is. But I don't know. Then going into Roma, to me, they're a team I don't want to verse at the moment. You'd rather almost have anyone else this week, especially after the performance we put in. And sure, we won. How many did we win? 8 on the row.
8 on the bounce.
We weren't convincing in a lot of them, man. Even the 6-2 that we won. That last 10 minutes is when we put the pedal to the metal. Other than that, we weren't great, to be honest. It is what it is, and all that. You play what's in front of you, I suppose. But it's been we haven't been convincing lately. Our defense is terrible. I'm worried that Roma's just going to tear us to shreds, man. Like you said, Mkhitaryan, Pedro's found form as well this year, which has been a bit of a surprise. Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm worried about Roma.
I can see why you're worried. Shout out to my awesome 14-year-old cousin, Francesco Mazzucco, who just commented on the live stream. He's a fin Juventini, would you believe it? And he's telling us
he's got a good point, though. We got to finish those chances.
He's a legend, bro. He's a smart kid. Just pretty much what Jono said, man. Like, we beat these minnow teams, and you're coming up against a team like Roma who are just firing on all fronts. Because let's face it, Roma are a big team, but as a club, they never have this pressure on their shoulders the way that Inter does. Every season with Inter, it's either win or jump off a cliff and kill yourself. Most of these other clubs, besides Juventus, don't have that. Milan sunk so low as a club in the last few years, they dropped that mentality completely. Why do you think they've been able to go back into it this season and excel? No monkey on their shoulders anymore. No pressure on their shoulders. Everything Milan's done is apparently the greatest thing since sliced bread. But as soon as Inter drop a point, crisis Inter, as they all say in Italy. So all of this bullshit can be turned around with 3 really good points against Roma. And that's where Bruno is going to tell us who's going to line up properly, Bruno Damasio. We've also got Demario up above you as well. So I'm really honored to have 2 of the best transfer gurus on there.
So we're going to get a comment coming through soon. But Inter and Roma's last 5 fixtures have resulted in a draw. So the last 5 times we've faced each other, it's resulted in a draw. And honestly, I feel that this is looking more like that as well. I just feel it's just the momentum. We needed the momentum coming into this game, and Sampdoria was the one team we needed to beat. And we lost that momentum with Sampdoria. But all credit, you got to give credit where credit is due. Sampdoria beat Atalanta, Lazio, and Inter now this season. I think it was 3-0, 3-0, and 2-1. So they haven't been the team which they used to be. Now, it's a bit of a kick in the guts with the 2 goal scorers being Keita Balde and Kandreva, but when I saw Kandreva go up to take that penalty, I'm like, you know what, he might sky this. He might just do Inter a favour. But yeah, so my predicted lineup would be Handanovic, Bastoni, De Vrij, Skriniar. I would drop Brozovic, Gagliardini, and Young, and bring on Damian, Vidal, and Sensi. I just feel Sensi did not play that last game. I feel the raindrops could have tore his ACL or something. He would have been out for about a good, 6 to 9 months. But I feel there was motive behind Sensi not coming on, and I think the Roma and Juventus matches are that motive. And in a fully fit Sensi is better for 90 minutes than no Sensi at all. And we can always bounce back. The one thing that is in Inter's favour leading into this match is that Roma have a massive game straight after Inter, and it's the Roma derby. And the attention will be on that fixture. So is there the possibility that Mkhitaryan might get a nice well-earned break? Probably not, because this week you've got that many fixtures coming up that are going to have big implications at the top of the table, that, teams are going to be going all out. But like your Juventini cousin said, Inter aren't capitalising in front of goals. And it's as simple as that. We created so many chances, not just this week, but we've created so many chances in the last 8 games. And I just feel it's like I'm playing my little cousin in FIFA, and he gets the ball in front, but he doesn't know that circle's the shoot, and he presses square and kicks it somewhere else, right?
No,
and
he double
I feel like that's what's happening with this team. And you know what? Surprisingly, Martinez scores a hat-trick and then doesn't get to take the penalty.
Yeah.
And that's what cost Inter that game, right? We go up 1-0. We don't get into the position we're in. And it's a different ball game. Big Rom didn't come on until later on, but as soon as he did, his leadership kicked in, and he will be starting with Martinez 100%. I just can't see Sanchez coming on as a starter in this fixture. But what I do want to allude to is when we were down against Sampdoria, and it was actually quite impressive, Conte changed it to a 3-4-3 formation when he brought on Perisic and moved up front, and they had that 3 attacking option. And I mentioned a fair while back, he did the same with Chelsea, and Chelsea actually really excelled in the second half of his season there. So is that a possibility with Sanchez and Martinez either side of Lukaku? I don't think so, not in a game like this. But overall, a draw does seem a fair result for both teams with the form. I could see a draw eventuating, but something's also telling me this is going to be an Inter-Napoli game where Roma will absolutely dominate us, but Inter will just get that 1 goal in, and, it just changes the whole complexion of the game. But this isn't a 3-point game. This is a 6-point game. So we need to capitalize. There's 6 points in this game, and we either stay up there with Milan or we drop to 3rd place. And then we've got Juventus. We'll probably be fighting for a Europa League spot by the time we face Benevento in round 1.
Wow, the optimism's large in this chat today, but I can see why, because we haven't seen any of these games where we dominate from start to finish, but we're top of the freaking table. I know we're not top of the table, but we are at the top of the table, 1 point behind. There is not a single game this season that I can remember that we dominate from start to finish besides Benevento, dead set, when we scored within 2 minutes because Hakimi was having a beast of a game. But even then, I think we still shipped 2 goals, 6-2. There has not been a game this season where you can walk away from it and you just go, Well, that was easy from the first kick up until the last one. And it's a shame because Milan have had their fair few of those this season. Roma have had plenty of them. Even Napoli and Juventus have still had their couple. So I guess our team, it's not that we don't have an identity. We know who we are. We're an Antonio Conte side. But what I want to talk about a little bit is where you boys stand. I kind of know a little bit where Mario stands on this, is with me on this one. But Inter ranks in the top 3 in Europe of good goal-scoring opportunities created. Yet there are still so many fans out there that are coming after Conte, but they're not even coming at him from a tactical point of view anymore. They're starting to attack, oh, Conte hasn't mentally got this side prepared. Dude, that's what Conte does. He gets sides mentally prepared. The reason we are in this fight to begin with is because Conte has got this bunch of pussies, no offense, mentally prepared for a scudetto battle. Some of these players were playing at mid-table sides. Now they're with Antonio Conte. These players are piggybacking off Romelu Lukaku's leadership and Antonio Conte's thoroughness and tenacity as a man motivator. So that's where I stand on the fact that, I think that if we are going to criticize anything, I think our focus and our concentration in front of goal, as everyone has been talking about, has been the biggest problem, because Antonio Conte can't physically walk the ball into the net the same way he can't score a penalty and the same way he can't drop it as a goalkeeper. Right, Mario? Can you confirm that for a second?
Conte is playing on PlayStation 4 while Lautaro Martinez is playing on Xbox and Lukaku is playing on PC. So I don't know if you guys can see around the private chat. The last few games we've had 24 chances against Sampdoria. We scored 1 and missed a penalty. Crotone, 17 chances. 18 against Verona, 9 against Spezia, 17 against Napoli, 21 against Cagliari. So the chances are there. There's so many opportunities to score between this team. It's unbelievable how we can basically walk the ball into the box, cross the ball into the box, play long balls to Lukaku, lay it off, whatever the case is, because this team is capable of scoring in many, many different ways. The problem is, once that ball lands to their feet inside of the box or whatever the case is, hits the post, the goalie has the game of his life, a whiff, a bad pass, nonsense happens in front of the goal, and then balls are going. You can't blame Lukaku. You can blame Lautaro. You can blame Alexis for taking 17 shots and putting them all wherever he put them. Sure, whatever, but, that's not Conte's fault. None of that is Conte's fault. Conte's gets the players in the right positions because they work at practice or they're training so frequently over different situations. The breakdown of the 7v4s, the 7v6, 8v8, whatever the case is, they're always attacking. They're always setting themselves up for the attacking third and in the box situations. It's not like they just say, hey, let's play possession all day, Rondo, like 24 hours of training. They're working on this shit all day. You see at practice the goals that they score. Sensi will never play again as far as I'm concerned because he's going to have a knee injury or something like that. But
Bro, before you go on, I was going to say something. His injuries,
they're so petty.
That's what I was going to say. They don't seem like they're injuries that you can't at least play him a little bit longer. Like, I understand your reservations for somebody that's barely taken the pitch, such as the weather conditions. For me personally, the weather conditions still shouldn't be enough for a professional athlete in a first-team football field player to not take the pitch. Like, what are you, like, proper made of glass, bro? Like, proper to the point where rain rides you off right now. Well, if that's the case, man, let's knock maybe 50K off your pay next year and make it a no-rain policy or some shit. Because this is Inter. We're not talking about a team. We're not talking about an amateur team here. And this is where our professionalism has really let us down. And, Bruno and I have agreed on this for a long time now. It looks like the medical team and the physiology staff in training, they were really late to be able to adapt the training thresholds to some of our players. And Stefano Sensi was the worst one, the worst of the worst. So, yeah, that's that. I was going to go to Jono next, but he's just sort of disappeared. But that's all right. That's why you call in other people. So both of you, I need to find – there's something I want to talk about. Di Marco from Parma needs to get back here yesterday. Bring the dude back. And I know Mario is not the biggest fan of him, and I don't know if Bruno is as well. So I wanted to talk about him a bit more because he's fallen
Small multiplayer.
We've got problems on the left-hand side, bro. Maybe we can bring him back.
Hey, Darmian.
Okay, sorry about that.
Yeah, 100%. That's right. 100% play Darmian. I thought we were gonna playing against what's it called, Sampdoria, because he came on against Crotone, shifted to the left and was bossing it. Little bit deceptive when you come on against a depleted relegation side and you run rings around them as Damian, but still, Bruno, you could go next because I know you like Damian.
Damian showed Hakimi. No. Look, Damian, he showed Hakimi how to track back, right? Hakimi's false positive in the Champions League was the best thing that could have happened for both Hakimi and Damian. My only criticism of Hakimi at the start of the season was that he's great in attack, but at the same time, he never tracked back to defend. Whereas Damian is great in attack, but fantastic when it came to defend. As Mario says, bring back Biraghi. He is the best.
Not.
Look,
Never.
Why would you say that?
Never.
I feel that there was a couple of issues where Inter. Now, let's move into transfers, right? I've heard a couple of rumors. Now, the first one is Sunny selling a minority share of Inter, and that causes ripples. And that news was released hours or a day before Inter Sampdoria. And obviously that plays on the minds when you've got an owner that's so passionate about Inter and apparently him wanting to sell. Now, he's come out and he said no, but then the rumors have started again today, which leads us to the transfer window. Now, nothing happened yet, but Pochettino wants Eriksen at PSG. Do we get anyone in return? Most probably not. Let's send him back there. Now, there are two rumors that I feel are great for Inter. Anthony, I have heard him openly criticize, but I feel they're great for Inter and they cost nothing, right? Piemonte, I don't know why we got him. Don't need him.
That was an FFP thing.
But what's his name? Graziano Pelli. A free transfer. No. So listen.
I love that man.
I love him too.
love him.
He's a free transfer for Inter, right? Suning owned the club he's at in China. And when I see him on the pitch, I feel like if he was on the field against Sampdoria in the last 10 minutes, him with that height in that box is very reminiscent of Oliver Giroud, right?
Mm.
He's just that one player you want to chuck in there when you need to just get balls into the box and hope for someone to head. Now, the other rumor was Eder, right?
Yes.
Now, I'm gonna bring back a comment.
I'm not completely against Eder, by the way. Pele, yeah, but
I'm
Eder,
gonna bring back a comment and be like what Anthony said when we first signed Conte. His comment was he did well in Europe, especially when he had a team with Graziano Pelle and Eder up front. Those were his exact words, right? Now, Eder, I feel as well, we have no like-for-like substitute for Romelu Lukaku. There are rumors that Spal are terminating their loan.
Dude, what happened to the kid? How did he get less minutes than his own brother or something like that?
I don't know. But Spal are terminating Esposito's contract loan agreement. So we need I like him. But I just feel
sorry to interrupt you again. It could be financial because Spal haven't been doing very well. Or maybe they took on a player with a slightly higher wage from Inter and now they're like, nah, screw this. It's going to send us into the red.
Yeah, well, either way, it was.
The man wanted $1 million because he scored one goal, a penalty.
Yeah,
fucking guy.
More than his brother.
Yeah.
Look, at the end of the day, let's bring it back to Anthony's initial question and about Conte. Eriksen out.
No.
Eriksen out. And do you know why I say Eriksen out? I love him as a player, right? And I agree with you. As soon as we signed him, I was over the moon. And then in his first free kick of the game, he hits the fucking post. He gets the corner.
Milan, yeah? Was it against Milan in the derby? Oh.
I don't know if it was against Milan in the derby, but either way, he scored the corner kick goal. You know, I love him as a player, but I just feel there is no room for him at Inter. And I just feel Conte or Eriksen, one of them have to go for the other one to work. Now, Conte's working, right?
Yeah.
And anyone who criticizes him is one of these 2010 fans that joined the bandwagon when Inter won the treble and think Mourinho, you know, shit's gold, right? Okay, he does. I agree. My favorite manager. But you can't replicate what happened in 2010, especially now, right? It's virtually impossible to dominate, right? Jordan. Eriksen, look, these comments are coming in thick and fast, but I just feel Conte as a manager at Inter has been under the microscope so badly since he's joined Inter. When we win, it's bad publicity against Conte. When we lose, it's crucifying publicity against Conte. Now, you don't see that with Inzaghi at Lazio, and they've been dreadful the start of this season. You don't see that with Pirlo at Juventus because they've been below average. You don't see that with Pioli at Milan because they got belted by Juventus. They're lucky to have one goal given to them, right? So why is it Conte? Why is it Conte?
People will say it's his salary. They'll say it's his salary.
It's his salary.
It was a more
it's his ego, yes, but you know what? He's won 8 games in a row, right? And
undefeated.
What?
Well, we got one of them in here right now. We got a Conte out right now, Junior. No problem. Your opinion. But there you go. You're gonna have to tell us why, man. Who else are you gonna get? There's no one available on the market at the moment. He's got you 1 point off first anyway, so get real, cuz.
Look, I think that Conte is the man to get us through the rest of the year. I don't think we should be looking elsewhere right now, especially with Pochettino signing for PSG.
I don't want Pochettino. He wouldn't have fit with us.
No,
it was better than the former Milan coach, to be honest. Look, I see a nice comment there of Kante in.
I'm mediating your comments, by the way. You can't get everything past me, Mario. Like, I'll put what you can.
Look,
I'm giving you a pre-warning.
Look, I feel Kante would be a great buy. But
Kante, good coach.
But Kante is a terrible bench warmer, especially when we've got a star like Gagliardini on the field. Right?
Kill me. Freaking kill me.
I'm shit stirring. Look, I feel that Inter, we're missing Vecino. And he pops up in big games. You can criticize him all you want, but he popped up in the Champions League. He's popped up in derbies. He's popped up all over the place. We are missing him. And if we don't want him on the field, we can't sell him because he's injured. So either way, but I don't know. Jono, what do you think?
Of Eriksen?
I don't remember the question. I honestly don't remember the question.
I cut out.
Jono, you've been in and out, man, so I'll give you an update. We're just kind of talking about guys. All good. I'll switch it over next to you. So if anyone wants a good laugh, read the comment that Bruno just made and tell me how good it is and how it makes sense on every level from one name to the next. But Jono, what I'll ask you is, man, do you think Inter's got is going to sign anybody in the Mercato? Do you think the Papu Gomez rumors are going to gain more traction towards the end of January? Or do you think this is going to be a Mercato where Inter pretty much signs nobody and just carries on from here?
Do I believe we'll sign anyone? Yeah. I actually don't know. I think we need to. Like, our left is terrible. We need a vice Lukaku. But you know what the problem is? We've had this problem from the beginning of the season, even last year. And these are the same problems that we still haven't addressed when Conte first came into the team. How can we still keep having these same problems and the club's just not doing anything about it? We can't rely on Lukaku every game. Look where it's gotten us when he's not there. Look, I would like to have Gomez, to be honest, because I think he would actually complement Martinez well, and they could be a like-for-like interchange. And the fact is, he actually does a bit more work and's got a lot more quality and technical ability to him. Then put into the fact, but then again, it just comes back to everything we do, every positive thing we do every game. It all goes through Lukaku. We need someone else to be able to step up. Martinez doesn't look like he's able to do it. Sanchez obviously can't do it. Our midfielders can only do so much.
Sorry to interrupt because I'm sure you were just about to get to it. Notice how Barella in the last 2 or 3 games has been a shadow of himself. The guy has been run into the floor for his age, for his output, everything that he can give us, man. We've definitely overplayed a few players in our squad, and he's one of them. He needs to rest because I don't like seeing Barella not play at his best. I'm obviously in love with the guy. We know that. So I want to see him because when he's at his best, Inter's almost at their best, bro. He's a great player. He's the it's like when Brozovic is bad, Inter is bad. And when Brozovic is really bad, Inter don't win games. Simple as that. So, yeah. Anyway, Jono dipped out again, so we'll go to anybody else who wants to talk.
No, look, on your point of Barella, he did come off. I just feel where my only issue with Barella is his mouth.
I know.
He is the type of player that is too passionate about the club, which is a great thing. But when it comes to referees, especially nowadays, Barella, his mouth is going to get him in trouble. Now, it was the Fries tackle on Keita Balde, which got the yellow card, and I could see Barella getting sent off for that, especially after he got the yellow card for the handball in the box. When he went up to the referee and started arguing, I go, this is going to be trouble. And it has been trouble. And I feel like we've gone from Nainggolan to Vidal, and Barella is just someone else that's on that pitch that is going to cause problems with his mouth when the tide's not going the right way. But like you said, he is an engine. He's the Ferraris of players when it comes to performance on the field. And when it comes to Italy and, the upcoming Euros and stuff like that, you want Barella and Sensi to be on that pitch together because they're going to be the heart of the team. But Barella, I feel, is losing confidence in the people up front. I don't feel he's a shadow of himself. I feel like he's losing confidence, especially in Martinez and our opportunities on goal. He creates so much. Yes.
I just want to say, also touch on what you mentioned before, and in regards to what this all comes down to is at the end of the day, who in our team are proven winners. And it comes down to we don't have, we brought in Vidal. Yes, he's a shadow of his former self. Kolarov, let's be perfectly honest, he's almost 40. Ashley Young came in for a bit of experience and all of that. But who do we have in our core nucleus that is contributing every week, week in, week out, putting results on the board that's actually won anything? Lukaku has stepped up this year without doubt, but he's for me, he's world class almost. He's almost at that pedigree.
He's definitely world class, man. Definitely.
But in saying that, he still hasn't actually won anything. He's got the mentality to get there, but he can't do it all on his own. We do need, in all seriousness, we should have got Giroud before the season started. He's won a World Cup. He's won the EPL. He's done everything. The experience he could have brought to our team would have been amazing. And in saying that, it just comes down to that. We're not putting our chances in front of goal. Barella's now, as you said, looks like a shadow of himself. He's doing all this hard work and he's not getting the rewards of the people in front or even behind him. Look how much he's got to backtrack and all that too for defense and cover and all of that. The fact is we just don't have that experience.
we could have picked up Giroud for about 5 to 6 mil if we made an offer.
100%.
We were looking at getting him
100%.
for free. We were trying to haggle for free. Then Chelsea wouldn't let up for free. We wouldn't offer 5 or 6 mil. Dude, he's the only one at Chelsea scoring goals at the moment. They're playing like trash, and they're supposedly got a world-class lineup, and they're banking on Olivier Giroud in the last month to bail them out. Forget 5 million, forget 7. That's 12 minimum now. And I can guarantee you our board is not going to pay 12 million for a backup striker. They won't do it. They're looking for a cheaper option than that. A much cheaper option. Before we keep talking, let's just go to a few comments because they're legit. We've got a fair few, so we should acknowledge them, shouldn't we? Fares, who's been contributing to the chat a few times now, thanks for contributing again. Gagliardini would bench Kante for sure. I think Gagliardini would bench a prime Zinedine Zidane under Conte, to be honest, man. Mario, just really quickly, you have to choose between Kante and Conte. Haha. Gag out, Vecino, good backup. Rodrigo to Paul in. Junior says that. Yeah, look, I'll reserve my judgments on Vecino until we actually see him run on the pitch again for us. Like, when a player spends this much time on the sideline, he kind of disappears from your head. The same way Nainggolan had disappeared from mine before he kind of left. Ede and Pele up front for Serie A podcast for the fans. Go check it out. Yeah, it could work, all right. Papu Gomez in as well. Barella, best midfield player in the world. Yes, he is.
He's up there.
Couldn't agree more. Barella's an engine room. Barella more of a leader than Handanovic. Any one of us still think Handanovic should be staying next season? I'm just trying to think. No.
Yeah.
Next season, yeah.
Number two.
Oh, he'd end up being the best number 2 in the world. That's what you want him for.
I look at it like this. Look at it like this. Pep Reina joined Lazio as their number 2 keeper, and he's played more minutes than Strakosha this season, right? Handanovic, I feel there's been some primo fuck-ups on his behalf this season, 150%, but at the same time, his average day is better than a lot of keepers on their good day. And a comment was thrown around on one of the forums that Inter want to get Kepa from Chelsea to replace Handanovic. And I just feel Inter have invested a lot into keepers, and we're not utilizing them. We've got games against, Crotone. They had 2 shots. They got 2 goals. But you chuck in Radu in there or Brazil, but we've sent him out on loan where he's getting no minutes where he's going as well. Yeah. So we need to, as a keeper, and it was a Manchester United game I was watching where De Gea had a terrible game, and that Manchester United player, former player who commentates, Rio Ferdinand, he turned around and he said, why are goalkeepers treated like they are godly? When they're having a bad game, you need to sub them out. And we see that everywhere. You've never seen a keeper subbed out because they're having a terrible game. But you also never seen a keeper, other than Juventus, because they've got fucking the best in the world and the second best in the world, right? Other than them two, you don't see keepers being dropped. Unless, you've got Prandelli, not Prandelli, Padelli sitting there, coming on, right? But other than that, our keeper should be interchangeable. And we should have a keeper there mentoring the next keeper in line. Yeah. When it comes to teams like Spezia, when it comes to teams like Coppa Italia, right? When it comes to, games where we can afford to chuck a keeper on, give them the minutes. That's what we should be doing. But we should not be buying a new keeper and chucking them in instead of Handanovic, because that's just going to be a backward season for us. I'm not all for Handanovic, but you don't replace him like that.
No, because I think one of the most underrated things about Handanovic is, which we don't obviously see, because there's obviously a reason why the defense has been so good for so long. And it's not because De Vrij is the best center back in Serie A, or Skriniar is one of the best, or Bastoni is one of the best. Sure, those 3 are awesome. Don't get me wrong. But what people don't realize is that the keeper organizes them. The keeper sees what's in front of them, to the side of them, behind them, and he has to communicate to those three center backs, right? So the problem is, who can communicate better than Handanovic? I mean, we've seen him for almost 10 years now, coming up on 7 or something like that, 8, whatever it is. Even though he's not making these saves that people expect him to make sometimes, which are sometimes he should dive, whatever the case is. He made a lot of mistakes, of course. First to admit it, I'm the biggest Handanovic fan, but it doesn't work without him. You have to understand that if he's not talking, if he's not organizing the defense, if he's not organizing the defense to organize the midfielder or setting up on a set piece, none of this defensive success happens. And I think that's why he's so valued in Conte's system, why you can't put in a Radu or you can't put in a replacement right away, because the experience and the knowledge that he has as a goalie is so valuable where it's almost impossible to replace. So Handanovic, 38 years old, communicating with the defense, prevents 4 or 5 goals a game, possibly. You put in Radu, he's shaking, he's not making call-outs, he's not calling out men, he's not telling Skriniar to check back or whatever the case is. Goal, left to right. You don't know what can happen with that. On the contrary, sure, maybe they have better reflexes, whatever the case is, but I think that's mostly what Handanovic's role is turning into. It's an organizer, not a shot stopper that he used to be, unfortunately.
Dude, he's the captain at the end of the day, so everything that you both said makes perfect sense. I'm just, whenever I speak ill of him, I'm just talking from a pure reactionary perspective, in a sense that when you get older, you tend to slow down. It's nothing personal, bro. It's
warranted though. At the same time,
yeah. So, Mohammed, welcome, bro. Handanovic should be our third choice goalkeeper. The guy is well and truly dusted. We just entertained that whole chat, so just give it a rewind if you just joined in, or give Radu a chance.
Yes.
It would be very risky. It would be very risky to drop Handanovic this season. Well said, pretty much just exactly what the boys have been saying. Who replaces Handanovic as captain? Well, my heart wants to say Barella, but we can't exactly be getting red cards as our captain in the 65th minute, can we? He's not ready. If someone
just
can
quickly, can we bring back Bernie?
Yeah.
He was a home
player. He can have 3 glasses of red wine and dance around in a costume like he's on TV. I know he had the best life, and I know we're all jealous. The whole reason we hang shit, we're like, ooh, third choice goalkeeper for Inter, and I never have to play. I could get behind that. I could get behind that for 60 grand a week.
But yeah, continue.
So who replaces Handanovic? Look, if we were able to mentor and we see signs of Barella maturing in 2-3 years' time, there's no reason why he couldn't be a captain at the club eventually. People do grow up eventually, Bruno. You know that, all right?
Oh, so yes, eventually.
If it was Bastoni, I wouldn't be opposed to it, but Bastoni's still too young. He's young.
He's the future.
You've seen clubs give their captaincy to young players, and very rarely does it work. Icardi was too young age and maturity-wise for this club. He was just wrong altogether. The next captain,
but you can't have Wanda as a captain.
Well, look, they say that the captain has to go to the next serving, like, longest person, but we can't be doing that because that's Brozovic, and he's not our captain either.
Nah,
for me to answer the question personally, it comes down to Skriniar or De Vrij, and I think De Vrij just lacks that little bit more that Skriniar actually has. Yeah. De Vrij, don't get me wrong, still very vocal, very good as a defender, and I'm glad he's the one that heads the back 3 because he's more perceptive, technical-wise, as a defender. He really is. Oh, Jonathan's waiting, and he's been waiting for like a good minute and a half. It's got to be Skriniar. It's got to be Skriniar. Jono, you can answer the question.
I think Skriniar.
Yeah. Skriniar, next captain?
Next captain, as in like tomorrow, for me would be Skriniar. Yeah.
I just think, you touched on it perfectly, but I just feel you look at Skriniar, he's an Interista. The transfer talks, when Spalletti was at the clubs, his manager actually asked him move to another team, and he sacked his manager, right? This guy is all about Inter, and even though Conte treated him like shit, the last 9 games where he started with Bastoni and the Fry other side of him, they are working collaboratively, right? And you know what? There's some results where goals have been scored and it's got nothing to do with them. I think our biggest, issue at the moment is Ashley Young when Vidal's not on the field, because between them two, I think 80% of our goals are them two's reason. But Skriniar, I just think his loyalty is second to none to the club, and he reminds me of Zanetti when it comes to on that pitch, the passion and the loyalty to the club.
But Icardi was the most loyal.
Look, Icardi has a special part on this badge for me. The eye in the badge is for Icardi.
Oh, man. Conte probably going to sign Joe Hart, Nabil says. Could you imagine that?
I wouldn't send that out, honestly.
Maybe in a few years. Mario says Conte captain, but I'm not going to click that comment. Oh,
Next one. Yeah. Next one. Fares. Go to Fares. Go to Fares.
Under Conte, the captain would most likely be.
It's so true. I hate it. I hate how you do that.
Oh, man.
It's actually believable.
It's so believable. You just see him walking out the armband and everyone's face goes, what? You gotta be kidding me. It'd be the happiest day of his life. It'd be a dream come true.
Lie to me and say we're gonna sell him.
Wait, didn't he just get like another 2-year contract or something, extension? And I'm being serious. I'm serious.
No, he did. Not recently, like in the last few months, but in the last. Yeah,
look,
that's right.
Can I throw a question to you guys?
They've just bumped it to 2025. He's here for 4.5 years at least. They bumped it from 2023 up to 2025.
Now, Inter fans in the video, I just want to say how much I love Gagliardini. He's the best player in the world. Please, if you have a chance, you should buy him. I'll give you a discount friend price.
Now, look, I'm throwing a question to you guys, and in all seriousness, one player. How's that breaking? One player that you could sign that would change Inter's issues this season, and financially, we can afford them financially. But one player you would bring into this team that can assist with making this a scudetto winning squad, then heart attack. One player.
Yeah, I got it.
All right, you guys can go first. Alaba, it's not really realistic, but is it?
Hey, we're talking about if we had all the finances and that, he's won everything.
He's a free transfer.
Exactly. Just wages
at the end of the season. I mean, so you get him.
Mario.
Renato Sanchez.
Realistic.
No, isn't he going to be a free agent as well?
No, he just went to Lille. Okay, fine. Realistic, I'll give you a list. Christian Eriksen. Next question, please.
I said purchase.
Oh, yeah.
Honestly, I would say DePaul, it's a good one, but it's not realistic because Udinese have already said he's staying till the end of the season. And if they were to give him away, you can always guarantee they'll drop into the relegation zone anyway. For me, bro, if he's available and it's only going to cost us 10 to 12 mil, I'll take Papu Gomez because he's honestly such a versatile player and he knows how to drop into a number 10 role and do all the things that Christian Eriksen is lacking in confidence, not in ability, just in confidence. Christian Eriksen don't speak the language. Papu Gomez does. Papu has played in Italy for the majority, if not all of his career. Don't quote me on that. Maybe he started in Argentina, but he's been doing it for Atalanta as a number 10. He's been doing it for Atalanta as a center forward. He's even done it as a second striker. This guy could probably do all the things that Lautaro Martinez is failing to do as well. And that is Lautaro Martinez is brilliant at getting into the best positions, but we've seen that it's really a hit and miss whether or not he can deliver the goal. I can guarantee you right now, Papu Gomez is a better finisher in this league than Lautaro Martinez, and that's not even a debate for me. So I'll take him.
I just worried with is Papu another Icardi when it comes to behind-the-scenes issues, especially with the whole blow-up with Gasperini. Conte is a manager who doesn't take shit. Your cousin's really got we haven't got Juventus funds here, so we can't go getting Milinkovic-Savic. But look, I think that Papu would be great, but I don't know the chemistry will work well with the minds that are at the club at the moment. You look at Lukaku, come to the country, started playing, gelled learnt the language in about 6 weeks. Yes, we are Muhammad. But
we didn't break it though. It's been around for a while.
I just think Papu would be probably, if we can utilize Ericsson, it would be better than anything.
Yeah, I know, but we can't. He's leaving, bro. He's as good as gone. So I'm sure that's breaking Mario's heart as well, because he is one of the presidents or vice presidents of Ericsson FC, whatever it is.
No, that was Icardi FC.
Yeah, no, he was the president, CEO, and founder of Icardi FC. No, this is just
can I raise a question for Mario? I remember before the season started, you were so excited to see Nangolan come back. How do you feel now?
He didn't get a fair chance.
Yeah, he did.
Conte has his favorites. Conte has his favorites. He was training hard. He was dedicated to the cause. Pushed aside like as if he's he's like the pink-headed stepchild.
Wait, we forgot about one play. We spoke about not having winners. What about Perisic? He won the treble with Bayern last season. He made the World Cup final.
Perisic, towards the back end of his Inter career, you could tell he started to develop quite a resentful attitude towards the club as a whole. He can try and fake it all he wants, but for me, his heart and passion for this club was gone a long time ago. He's happy here to play in a semi-professional team still and do a job and do a shift because he got what he wanted. He broke his heart with Croatia. He went to the Bundesliga after a really tough career of putting in a lot of effort and getting jack shit back. He collected almost everything under the sun at the club that does collect everything under the sun, Bayern Munich. Now he's just coming back and he's happy to play. I'm happy to have him for the rest of the season for his professionalism and the fact that if you get him into a position, there's still maybe a 30%, 40% chance he'll score a goal or at least deliver a shot that can ricochet or back up to Lautaro like it did. You bring in Perisic for 20 minutes to hold a game, you're probably going to win the game because no defender that's tired is going to deal with an Ivan Perisic who's fresh. That's why you can't necessarily replace him because it's an unproductive replacement. You've already got what he's there to do. But Nainggolan, I don't know if you guys saw Mario, 10:30 p.m. kickoff here in Sydney. So I needed something to do before the Inter game. So I tuned into the Cagliari game. First thing this mofo does is almost score from 42 yards out. I was so pissed off at something that should not make you angry. Like, I can't believe how amped up I was seeing him play really well. And that whole first half, bro, it's not, dude, it's him. He does not want to play for us at all. At all.
He's just got to play. The problem is he has to play. He's the kind of guy where he needs to have his ego stroked. He's one of those kind of guys. You play him 90 minutes, 5-6 games in a row, he's going to make good things, and then he's going to be the Nainggolan we wished he turned into at Inter. But the problem is Conte he's so fixated over Gagliardini. It's pathetic. That sure, I guess you could say it works because 10 games undefeated, whatever, fine. But it looks like shit, and I hate him. But you have to play to the players' strengths. You have to stroke their ego sometimes. You can't just be like, I'm the coach. This is what I'm going to do. You don't do this. Blah blah blah. My way or the highway kind of thing, which Conte obviously showed. And another thing, going back to Perisic, if you give the guy a little more attacking freedom, he's going to be the Bayern Munich player that we saw that he played and he helped them win a Champions League. If you say, hey, dribble up the line, cross to Icardi, cross to Lukaku, find Toro, this is what you get. He's ambidextrous. It's a blessing to have a player as good as he is on both feet that works so hard up and down the line, offensively and defensively. Where he's better when he starts as not a winger, but a midfielder or a wing back. He's so much better in that role as opposed to where he played before. That he can be very effective. The problem is he doesn't have that the freedom to play how he wants, and it's so obvious because we saw it when Icardi was here. We saw it now because you're like, how the hell does this guy cross 1,000 times and nothing's productive? He misses every cross. But then you watch him with Croatia. He's doing whatever he wants to whoever he wants. It's simple. There's more tactical freedom there. And sure, I get it. Conte has his set in stone ways. And thankfully, Perisic is given the opportunity. But the problem is he needs the freedom. You give him the freedom, you find the success. It happens with so many good players like that. It's a
With
shame.
football, man, you really can't have everything, man. You really try to put the perfect tactical system in place with the right players, but there's always going to be those one or two variables that don't necessarily adjust. So I guess that's it. Jono's battery has died. He's all out. But you know what? That's a good way to probably end this off. He did it on purpose so he could avoid the last question to predict. What an absolute bellend. Mario, Mario, you can go first, man. Prediction for Roma.
I think I'm going to go with Bruno on this one. 0-0, 1-1. One of those.
Yeah.
It's going to be like I don't think it's going to be a very, very entertaining match. I think it's going to be as tactical as it can possibly be. Conte does not want to lose to Roma. He doesn't want to drop points, so he'll do whatever it takes to just play for a draw. He doesn't care. I think we are home, right? Are we home this game?
We are. Let me just double check. Let me double check it because I think
we're in Rome.
We're in Rome. We're definitely. It's going to be a snooze fest. I'm not.
Yeah.
My game is 6:30 in the morning. I'll catch the highlights.
No, see, this is the perfect time for us. 10:30 at night. Otherwise, it's 1 in the morning. Look, I got to agree with Mario. Jono did mention he thinks Roma 1-0, so he's not there looking happy. But I just feel this is the perfect fixture for Conte to prove, it's not a slump. It's a game we're going to win. I think it's going to be one of two ways. It's going to be 0-0, 1-0, 1-1, or how we saw Napoli thump them 4-0 when Maradona died. So either way. Anyway, boys, what do you think? I got to head off. So what do you think?
Yeah, no worries. I think it'll be exactly like the game that when you came over to review it last season, we were like, what a snooze fest, 0-0. As Mario said, I'll actually be surprised if anything of interest happens in this game whatsoever. I'm expecting 0-0 or 1-1. Guys, to everybody who joined into the chat today, thank you very, very much. Thank you to my guests, Jono, who's not here, Mario and Bruno, as always. And from myself, Anthony, and all of us here at Inter Worldwide, Forza Inter. Ciao, ragazzi.
Ciao.
Bye-bye.